Episode 4, Commodifying People. If money measures everything, what is the price of a person? We rarely think of ourselves as commodities, yet under modern legal and economic systems, nearly every aspect of our lives can be bought, sold, leased, or tracked. Labor, data, health, even identity all become measurable units inside an economy. Laws don't just permit this, they actively structure it. Seeing this process is key to understanding how deeply the corporate logic of nations reaches into daily life. Start with labor law. Wages, hours, benefits, and safety standards are governed by statute. In theory, these rules protect workers. In practice, they also define workers as interchangeable human capital. Minimum wage laws set the floor price for labor, while immigration, licensing, and contract rules regulate who may work and under what conditions. Companies and governments rely on this framework to ensure a predictable, disciplined workforce. Within it, human beings are reduced to cost centers on a spreadsheet. Then there's data law. Every click, swipe, and purchase generates digital traces. These traces are harvested, packaged, and sold as behavioral surplus. Privacy statutes exist but often lag behind technology, allowing corporations and states to turn your attention, preferences, and location into monetizable assets. You become a product twice over, once as a worker producing value and again as a consumer producing data. Healthcare law offers another lens. Access to care, insurance mandates, pharmaceutical patents, and even organ donation policies reflect legal decisions about who is worth saving and at what cost. In countries without universal health care, a person's health is literally priced into premiums or out-of-pocket expenses. Even in public systems, patent and trade laws shape which medicines are available and at what price and to whom. Life itself is mediated by contracts and intellectual property. Social programs, unemployment benefits, pensions, education funding can look like pure welfare, but also function as investments in the productivity of citizens. Governments frame these expenditures as human capital development, a term borrowed from corporate accounting. Law becomes the mechanism by which populations are maintained for future output. Meanwhile, criminal law sorts people into categories: compliant, non-compliant, or excluded. Conviction can strip someone of voting rights, employment opportunities, or immigration status, reducing their market value. Even rehabilitation programs are tied to metrics of employability and cost savings. Justice becomes an efficiency project. None of this means protection and rights are meaningless. Labor standards, privacy laws, health regulations, and social programs genuinely improve lives, but they do so within a paradigm that treats people primarily as resources to be managed. This system's metrics, GDP, productivity, credit scores, risk assessments, all translate human lives into numbers. The legal framework makes this translation possible. Reflect on your own day. You exchange hours of life for wages. You sign terms of service that allow your behavior to be tracked. You file taxes that categorize your earnings and deductions. You may use healthcare or education programs designed to enhance your economic participation. At every step, laws define the terms of these exchanges. They make you legible to institutions, but also commodified by them. This is not inevitable. Other legal and governance models exist. Some indigenous systems emphasize stewardship over extraction, community obligation over market exchange, cooperative businesses, open source data movements, and restorative justice programs point to ways of organizing value and responsibility without reducing people to commodities. Law can either entrench the current paradigm or open pathways beyond it. Which leads to a critical question. If laws can turn people into commodities, can they also return people to themselves? Can legal frameworks measure well-being instead of output, dignity instead of profitability? The answer depends on whether citizens see the system clearly enough to demand change. In the next episode, our finale, We'll pull back from the analysis and look forward. We'll explore what it would mean to break the frame of commodification and power, and how understanding law as a living, contested system can help us imagine something better.